Hey then, welcome to After Work. My name is Valentine, and today we're going to be talking about how long does it take you to become a data scientist. So this is a question that you might ask when you're starting your learning journey, and you might possibly not have any sort of coding experience at all. You might have some coding experience, or even statistics or mathematics background. And this video will help you to just get a sense of that duration that it takes for you to become a data scientist. Something to note, this question can be seen in different ways. So there are persons who might be asking of how long it would take for them to become employable. And for others, it might be more of being able to work on data science projects. So in this particular video, we're going to cover both different kinds of perspectives when it comes to this question. So let's get started. When you're starting your learning journey as a data scientist, you normally have a set of learning outcomes that you're looking towards achieving in a data science learning journey. And these particular learning outcomes usually determine the duration of the program that you're going to be undertaking. Some data science programs usually cover basically foundational skills that data scientists usually require, while others cover extensive advanced skills pertaining to different branches of data science. And that journey or curriculum outline for those particular programs usually determine the duration of the program that or the duration that you're going to spend when you're going through a learning journey. Something else that might also depend on how long it takes you to go through a data science learning journey would be also some coding experience, as well as some statistical background. If you do have some statistical background or mathematics background, then in most cases you might find some of the concepts taught in such programs being a bit easier to grasp. But of course, if you do not have such background, it's okay. You can still be able to catch up, provided that you set aside a bit of some more time to be able to go through such learning experiences. So when it comes to data science, I would normally advise people, first of all, to acquire the foundational skills before branching off to learning other types of techniques pertaining to data science, advanced techniques that possibly may not be skills that you may end up using in any sort of general data science job. So foundational skills would be something like learning how to work with either Python or R at the basic level. So just learning the fundamentals of those languages, how to work with variables, dictionaries, list vectors, how to create functions, classes, objects, etc. Just learning how a bit more about that. There are actually eight different things that I would recommend. Is that the basics of programming pertaining to Python or R, data analysis as well as data wrangling. That's the second one. Then there's data visualization as well as, that's the third one. Then interactive data visualizations with Tableau, Power BI. Then there's data collection with SQL, there's statistical data analysis, hypothesis testing, machine learning, and that pertains to regression, classification, clustering. These are just topics that would be essential for you to cover in order for you to just basically work on basic data science projects. So those are basic fundamental topics I would normally recommend people to go through, and they would essentially get you into any sort of data entry job. Not really a data science job that requires that you go through, you do have some extensive experience in data science, but these are just topics which will help you to acquire skills that would be important for just working on basically basic data science projects, whether it's projects pertaining to data analysis, whether it's projects pertaining to data visualization or presentation, that's working with Power BI or Tableau, or whether it's projects related to machine learning, classification projects, or regression projects, or clustering projects. So these fundamental topics would be core. And how long does it take you to go through these fundamental topics? I would say if each topic you can take, say 4 hours of basically practice work of just understanding the theory and also doing a bit of some practice work related to those particular topics. So 4 hours for each and every topic, and that would be about 32. So 4 hours of theory and practice. And at the same time, would also advise for you to be able to work on projects related to those topics. So if you also work on such projects for another as much time as you would working on just practice and theory. So for practice and theory, 4 hours times 8 for 8 topics would be 32. Then you double that for now, the amount of time you'll spend on project, that's about 64 hours. Then 64 hours should be enough for you to be able to basically be prepared to work on any sort of basic data science project. And how does that translate to? So if you're going to be spending 64 hours, it depends on how much time you're going to be committing each and every month. If you decide to maybe do something like 8 hours a week, you might end up which would also translate to about 2 hours for 4 days. You would end up spending, say, 2 months in that particular data science learning experience. If you go for something like 5 hours a week, that extends to about 3 months. If you go to maybe 2 hours, 2-3 hours a week, that translates to about 6 months. So basically, that is the duration that you would normally expect to go through in terms of acquiring data science skills, fundamental data science skills, and later onwards you can branch off depending on the kind of job that you end up taking. If some of the projects require you to learn some advanced data science skills like big data technologies, or how to work with such technologies like the likes of Hadoop, Apache Spark, etc., or some of them do require you to work with deep learning tools to be able still to work on classification or regression tasks. Then you can branch off to learn about deep learning, the likes of TensorFlow, etc., when it comes to Python. Or if you want, if you're going to be working on projects pertaining to working with textual data, then you can decide to branch off and just go and work extensively on natural language processing skills. So there you have it. If you're starting out, expect to spend about 64 hours working on just basic fundamental data science skills. These are actually skills we normally teach at Afterwork. If you're also interested in that program, you can always have a look at it in the description section. And we also post courses that help you to just go through each and every topic that we've mentioned. So yeah, how long does it take you to become a data scientist? About 64 hours, but it depends on your commitment, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, or 5 months, etc. But of course, ensure that once you have gone through those particular topics, you have a project portfolio that could always talk about when it comes to application of job applications. Now, that is the first question that we've answered, that we talked about, like how long does it take you to become a data scientist, and who can be able to work on projects, so 64 hours. The other question, or the other perspective, was more of how long does it take you to become an employable data scientist. So this question usually varies with various job positions. For example, some data entry jobs might require you to have zero or no experience at all. If that just involves maybe becoming a junior data analyst, you would need to showcase your projects to show that you can be able to work on just basic data science projects within an organization, or data analyst programs. There are also other other different kinds of jobs that you might end up applying for. So if you go to indeed.com and just basically search on data entry level, you're going to be able to, data science entry level jobs, you're going to be able to see quite a number of jobs that you can be able to apply for. And if you were to go to maybe one of those roles, maybe entry level data scientist, and have a look at the requirements, you will see that, you know, this one requires you to have 1 year's experience. Maybe you could apply to that particular job, provided that you have those skills that we've mentioned. And these are skills that already we've talked about in the introduction bit. If you maybe would want also to undertake this other role, associate data scientist, you might realize that there isn't any sort of stated data science experience, but they do suggest you need to have some relevant professional experience. Can still showcase your project portfolio as part of that. There is this other one in Insight Curation Fellow. That really, if you're to look at that, it doesn't really have any sort of, you don't really need to have some data science experience. And there's one last one, associate data analyst, which actually does not have, it has 0 to 2 years work experience in data analytics. So there you have it. So generally, to become employable as a data scientist, what you just need is just to have a portfolio that you can showcase to employers, that you can be able to undertake the responsibilities that they have outlined in the job descriptions. So yeah, so how long does it take you to become a data scientist who can be able to work on projects? 64 hours. And how long does it take you to become an employable data scientist? This varies across organizations, and you just apply for jobs that you feel you are much more equipped for, and go for it. So there you have it. Hopefully this video did give you some insights into what to expect when it comes to learning data science. And if you did get some value, be sure to give this video a thumbs up so that other persons who might be also interested in the same topic can also get informed by YouTube. And if you'd want to be informed when we post such future videos, be sure to subscribe, and see you in the next video.